The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack News. Sack News.
Radio.
Sack.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
Into the silo.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
And welcome to the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network post-debate special on October the 19th, 2016. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Did you mute me again as I try to answer the
No,
question?
I muted me, actually.
Oh. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you so much.
BZ, how are you, sir?
Doing splendiferously.
Excellent. So I have a story to share right
I
off the bat.
love
I got
the
it.
stories.
I got to get this off my chest.
All right,
I have
quick,
to, so
'cause we have so much to get to.
Our thoughts and prayers are with a very special friend of the show, our hack ambulance chasing attorney.
Oh, no.
He actually legitimately injured himself, and so we do wish him a very speedy recovery.
Okay.
But I have to tell you the story about how this happened.
Sports injury, air quotes.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to confirm exactly how this went down.
You know, sports.
But essentially, no, he's legitimately pretty hurt. So we do wish him
All
luck.
right,
I
okay.
spent some time with him this afternoon, hoping to cheer him up. But here's my theory of what happened. And now the interesting thing is he did not confirm nor deny that this is actually what happened.
Okay.
so you're just making shit up.
Absolutely not. I would never do that, BZ.
Right. Okay, good.
So this is a respectable media outlet. I don't know if you know this or
Excellent.
not. So he's walking. He has a bagel and a cup of coffee in his hands, which nothing wrong with that. And he's walking down the street. Well, as he's walking down the street, he sees a traffic collision, and an ambulance pulling away from the scene. Now, being the astute ambulance chaser he is, he immediately goes in hot pursuit, trying to track down said ambulance, and he's literally, with his one free hand, flinging business cards at the ambulance as it's driving by
They
him.
teach you that in lawyering school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but his business cards are made of magnetic material. So
Yeah,
they stick.
So they actually do. They actually
That's
are
right.
magnets,
That's
which is
what
the
you have
beautiful
to have.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
what you do.
So he's throwing these magnetic business cards, and he actually
goodness.
sticks a couple on the ambulance. And as the ambulance rounds the corner, he goes to throw one more to kind of stick it like on the back door. And there's a 2-inch raised section of concrete, and he trips.
Oh, somebody's getting sued.
And he went down hard.
Yeah, he's
So
definitely
he's got
suing that
some
2-inch.
serious. He's got some serious injuries.
What, like a
I think he's filing a lawsuit against the city
Of
hell
course he
yeah.
is.
for that.
Hell yeah, mister.
And he stuck a business card right on the concrete. Also, it was weird though. He said when he woke up in the hospital, like in the crack of his ass was one of his own business cards, and didn't understand how it got there. I think he's just so in tune
Did he have a mental
with
scrotum?
with
Then
how.
that's why.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just think it's a riot because you and I both know immediately that somebody's getting sued. It's my favorite part about that story. There's zero questions that there will be a lawsuit coming from that.
If this is a notorious piece of sidewalk that's been raised for 2 inches for how long, and somebody tripped and broke shit,
oh, yeah. it's going down.
He did.
No, the lawsuit.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
going down
I see. I
hardcore.
thought you meant something else.
So what did he do? Did he make a face plant? Is that where it came from? The injuries?
Yeah, so I apparently... so I have to give him props because his coffee was more important than saving his face or body. So I don't know if he saved his coffee, but he sure as hell didn't let it go because he didn't catch himself right. Yeah.
That's
yes. So we hope that
rookie move.
whoever was in the ambulance actually calls him to give him some business to help pay these medical
Oh,
bills.
he's going to sue the hell out of anyone.
And in all seriousness, we hope he feels better.
I hope he gets better.
Brother, we
No
hope
kidding.
you feel better. We hope you can turn us in for some entertainment and enlightenment because
Yes.
even though you are some hack attorney, we hope to bring some light into your life.
Jersey Joe wants to know if the coffee was okay.
The coffee was fine.
Okay, good.
The coffee was fine, so we have to give him some credit.
So we're going to turn quick to the debate.
Very quickly,
We have a
debate.
lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, I think the thing of the evening that was noticed by somebody that really needs to be discussed is Mrs. Clinton's outfit this evening. Danny Butcher put out on Facebook and again in our chat at shrmedia.com that it was very Mao-like, her outfit this evening.
Mao, like as in a kitten, like we should
No,
call
Yeah,
her.
exactly.
not meow,
Oh,
but
Chairman Mao.
Like Chairman Mao, yes. Just missing the hat. The white button-up, high-collar pantsuit.
Did Mao
also-
wear pantsuits?
And I think there's we could do a
Yes.
combination of
That was a mota
of
attached.
who wore it better. Her or Kim Jong Un, because he wore the same thing earlier this year. So
Now they might have the same designer. Can we get anybody to research this?
we have
Does
to
Hillary,
do. Somebody has to do the research.
does
see
Hillary
if it's-
Clinton have the same designer as both Chairman Mao and Little Kim?
Jong Un?
The little Kim.
See,
Little Kim.
Dave just hit on it in chat. He said the exact thing I was thinking. Did anybody? Well, no, you guys didn't. Are you familiar with Nehru jackets?
Nehru jackets.
Is that something I saw on a website one
Right,
time?
Never mind.
That is- I think
that's
that might be
dating me
something
a
we-
lot.
no,
I'm
remember
almost
Sean?
afraid to Google that.
All right, NEHRU.
Is that like the massage?
You didn't think I knew what that was, did you?
Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
actually,
exactly
yeah,
exactly
I
what
did.
she was wearing. BZ is the Nehru jacket.
That's right.
It's exactly what she was
Yep.
wearing. So I'm glad we have that out of the way.
That's what happens after the new
Thank
massage.
goodness the important stuff is out of the way for the debate. And really quick,
Nice.
Thank you.
we have a friend of ours, and we can't say much more than that, but they are involved in government, and were contacted earlier this week on a local level by the Homeland Security, and was asked about essentially their election integrity and if they could go into the computers and ensure that it hasn't been messed with. That person verified the source to make sure that it was actually a true entity, and it was. And then when asked, hey, is there something we should be worried about? Got no answer. So I'm just saying, take that for what it is.
So hang on a second. I would think then that they're concerned that somebody is trying to tip the scales in Donald's favor.
Whoa,
Because
you
if they were
know.
trying to tip it the other way, they probably wouldn't be investigating this too much.
But for all the arguments about how there's no election fraud, there's no if you're overtly investigating it ahead of time,
Now, are they investigating it or are they part of the problem?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't
and how,
know.
how bad is it that we actually have to question this?
I know.
Because our source is an amazing person.
Absolutely full of integrity.
And above reproach, in my opinion and experience.
I agree.
And so I have to question the group that's coming to this person.
Yes. And why?
And why.
And of all places, why this specific one?
Right. Like, why California?
Or are
If
you
California's
calling
in the tank for
every
you.
single county
I don't know.
in the country, every county in the country. Just something to think about. Like I said, I trust this person enough to take it at their word. They've been a very good source on things in the past.
So here's the thing. I think it's usually a Democrat-controlled area.
Uh-huh.
And so if they're worried about fraud
Uh-huh.
in a traditionally Democratic-controlled state or whatever it is, doesn't that tell you something?
Yep.
Have you guys happened to see, or anybody in chat or podcast later on, and if you haven't, you must, the two James O'Keefe
Yes. Project
videos
Veritas.
from Project Veritas?
Oh. And
He's the person who, if you remember, revealed all the information in the covert videos about Acorn, and basically was responsible for the destruction
Of Acorn.
Acorn.
yes.
And
And
well,
found
he's
to be very
back.
credible. by the way.
He's back in the past 48 hours from those 2 videos. If you haven't seen them, you must.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
on my site,
Yep.
both of them. Go see them. They're about 16 to 17 minutes each. That's all. Very excellent time well spent. But since the broadcast, the release of those videos, 4 people that are involved in those videos have left.
Resigned.
Were resigned or they were asked to leave. One of the two.
Well, and so here's the funny part is one of the questions on the debate tonight was about the election integrity and the integrity of the campaign, essentially.
Right.
And I was shocked that it was asked. And by the way, I thought Chris Wallace did a pretty decent job tonight.
I think he did too.
I think he did better than anybody else
Yes.
has
Absolutely.
this year.
Hands down.
Completely concur.
I think he played it very middle of the road.
Yep.
His comments and questions were evenly placed.
Yes.
Both
Yep.
sides.
Yes. So I want to get that out of the way first. But that was one of the issues brought up tonight was the election issue and WikiLeaks and Project Veritas. And I think that's a good place to start. Do you think, should it matter how this information is getting out? Or should we be thankful as an electorate, as a voter, should we be thankful that it is out? Because that was one of the things Hillary liked to spin that towards, well, it's Russia and Russia's hacking.
So
we can fight about that later.
I think both are very important. I think both are equally important. I think it is just as important to get the information out there so that we as an electorate know what's going on. However, I think it's just as important to know that I think one is important because we need to know if our electorate, what our elected officials are doing, what kind of shady stuff they're involved with, Republican or Democrat.
Right.
I think that is the utmost importance because these are people that are going to be leading our country.
Yeah.
I think it's equally important to know if a foreign entity is hacking into our systems and trying to play a hand in our election process. I think that is equal. I don't think either one issue is more important than the other. They both have serious ramifications and implications for our country.
She kept stating that the Russians were behind the DNC John Podesta hacks. Has anybody listening to the sound of our voices right now heard the new Judge Napolitano video released today?
Have not.
Okay, what he is speculating is this.
I have not.
And it's also backed up by Zero Hedge. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't go to Zero Hedge every once in a while, you're not serving yourself well. What he said is this. He doesn't believe that the Russians were behind the hack. And he goes into a number of reasons. And one of them is a gentleman by the name of Binney who worked for the NSA. That article is at Zero Hedge. And what Judge Napolitano said is this. It's the NSA that went in and hacked those emails. Now, where they went from there to WikiLeaks, he didn't speculate, nor does Zero Hedge. But there's a particular NSA person who is now retired, but is well familiar with all of that software and how it's handled and how it works, who said essentially, and Judge Napolitano echoed his sentiments, and that's it.
But
The NSA did that because they don't trust Hillary Clinton. She doesn't know or doesn't want to know how to handle classified information, and the release of the classified information and the disdain with which she holds classified information got people killed. And that was the NSA attempting to keep the United States safe.
Clint, what say you?
Look, I think so. My first part of this, my first response is this. I think that Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign of the Democrats are blaming the Russians because it's convenient to blame there because they can attempt to hang Donald Trump and what he's said about Putin and what Putin has said about Trump as well to try and hang that around Donald Trump so it's easy to blame the Russians because it makes Trump look worse for wanting to kind of partner with them, for example, even in fighting ISIS, which is an idea that we talked about on this show, a year ago? I don't remember how many months ago where we talked about, hey, we should be fighting ISIS together with Russia. So I think it's a convenient narrative for the Democrats to say, oh, it's probably Russia, and look how cozy Donald Trump is with Russia, and they're trying to play into our electorate. But it makes perfect sense to me that
She got people killed.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me that government entities that are seriously concerned about our safety and the sensitivity of our secrets and keeping Americans safe, that they would have an interest in Hillary Clinton not getting elected.
Right.
That being said, if there are three-letter organizations that are kind of playing a role in this, that's problematic also,
That's
right?
scary on its own level.
Because now we have three-letter organizations and our government working to install its own leaders or leaders that they think are best. So while I understand there may be people in the NSA that are hesitant about Hillary Clinton and why, and I understand why they can't come out and say certain things, but if we have members of three-letter organizations taking it upon themselves to affect elections and to install certain people that meet their interests under the guise of keeping America safe, I think it's almost a similar argument as passing a Patriot Act for our safety.
Well, you know,
I mean, we can't compromise our values or our integrity or our system under the guise of our safety.
Right.
Look, if the people and the electorate elect Hillary Clinton, then that's what we get.
I mean, you know, it's that. How many sides of the coin do you have to look at, right?
The door is open. The door has already been opened.
It is scary,
and you can't close it.
To think that it is so bad on the inside that you have people who are willing to do that, and people knowing it's wrong. But you also had Snowden. You had the other guy there that was just convicted. Or just arrested in June that they sat on the whole time the Clinton email thing was going on, former NSA contractor. So you know that there are people who have access who are saying, hey, something's wrong.
Corruption is rife all up and down. John Kerry went and contacted Ecuador, where Julian Assange is now, and had them turn off the internet.
Yes, so that was my next step. So this information's getting to Assange. We can all agree if it's an inside job, it's actually worse on some levels than if it's an outside job, right? But for me, it actually shows you how bad it is that the inside people are saying, this needs to get known about no matter what.
But yeah, I get it.
No, I know
I
what
understand,
you're saying.
exactly.
It's that
I know what you're both
it's
saying.
That balance, right? We're looking at the scales of
Yes.
justice right now.
Yes.
Is there a balance? And I'm not saying, but one of the things that I look at it is, if they're not doing anything wrong, the people who are information are getting released, then we wouldn't be here. So when we start looking...
Yes, that's the point right there.
Yes.
If that button hadn't been pushed by leftists and Democrats, you wouldn't find everybody else in this position
But you
today.
know, you're right. But it is, but it's our job. It was Director James Comey's job.
Oh, and he flat-ass killed that?
Look, yeah. So it doesn't mean another organization gets to take it upon itself to try and subvert the election.
But is it it goes back to the Snowden argument. Is he doing a patriotic thing by exposing corruption at the risk of himself? True corruption. It's not like they're making the stuff up and releasing it.
Right.
So is it the job of a patriot to release, and we had this argument with Snowden, is it the job of a patriot to release that information, or is it a job as a member of the NSA to make sure that it stays confidential? It's the cart and the horse.
It really is, because as a patriot, you're releasing sensitive information, and you're violating certain tenets
that you've agreed to do.
You've agreed, right?
But on the other hand, sometimes the blood of patriots, even if it's metaphorically,
I think if it's but here's the deal: these patriots are doing this. They're part of the three-letter organizations, right? If they were independent of, different story. But they're not,
right?
And that's the problem.
I understand that, but on some level,
because what happens if it's just somebody that they don't like and they've already hey, do you remember when we did it to so and so?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care, because none of the leaders should be dirty. And if this causes transparency,
I agree with you. But think about the NSA. Think about the NSA and what they're capable of.
I understand what they're capable of.
So hey, what if a leader's not dirty, but maybe something sounds kind of shady, and so they start releasing that stuff?
Or what if
because
your
they want-
entire
yeah.
campaign and everything that you say is a sham and a lie behind transparency? Now, do the logical extension, what I call the logical extension. Where's the line? For some people, is the line, a question for you, Sean, and a question for you, Clint.
Yes.
Is the line where people get killed?
Well, and at which point are you on some level exposing a tyrannous act on some level? I'm not saying that specific, but some of the things that have come up, I don't know, selling uranium to Russia through the Clinton Foundation to further support yourself as Secretary of State, etc.
She sold what?
She arranged for the deal of uranium to be
Oh,
sold
I thought she
to
sold
Russia.
her anus.
Oh, no.
To
That was
Russia.
a
That would've
different,
been
that was Bill.
No, that's a different,
Totally different.
That was
different
Bill.
orbit.
Okay.
But, you know, how do you balance it? And I guess it comes down, right? We can sit and judge all we want. And like you said, you see both sides of the argument. You see it.
I do.
But does it come down to that individual who has that burden weighing on them so much?
You know
that
what? You
there
know
is government corruption going on. There's government issues. And they let it go until she ran for president, right? When she was Secretary of State, you've heard a few rumblings, whatever, but nothing was really said after she left until she started running. And now you have that person potentially being the leader of the free world, and you have all of this information.
So here's my thought on that. It's a bright line test for me. It's very and it has to be. I see both sides, but that doesn't mean I necessarily agree with both sides, because it's a huge slippery slope
Enormous.
once we start going down that road. And so I think we don't even step foot on that road. If somebody in a three-letter organization has information like that, that they have to get out, then I think they don't utilize three-letter organization resources to do it or technology to do it, and they come out and they go public. That's what I think, because having it's the I guess it's the way, if it's true, it's the way that's being done that I have a problem with, because you have potentially three-letter organization giving information to foreign entity to leak out to affect an election to get somebody else that this three-letter entity wants. I have a major problem with that. If you want to do your patriotic duty and you have this information and you're a patriot, then step out, step up, and come forward with information, or come forward and say, hey, listen, I know this person to be dirty. I have evidence this person is dirty. I'm turning this information over to Congress so that they can do an investigation, and the FBI so that they can do an investigation. I have copies of everything, and I will release it.
But then you've
if they
removed
try and bury it.
copies against you, and so now you better get asylum. Right?
And
You
Right.
better get some
yes,
sort of
because now
Right.
you're placing trust
Right. But
in a
here's-
system
but here's
that
my
is
you
thing.
now have
broken.
seen
No,
as
no, no.
corrupt.
Stop.
It's broken.
You guys are missing the point. But that's why you keep copies, so that if the system is broken, you can still go public with it yourself. You don't have to, under the radar, give it to somebody in a foreign freaking embassy,
Well-
in a foreign government to release.
But you're
I have
also-
a problem with that.
I understand that, but you're also dealing with Hillary Clinton, and we've all read the 47 Bodies and otherwise.
Yeah, you come out and you come out and go public, and if you disappear, you kind of have like, hey,
That's the
Sean, I
risk
got
you
some
take.
stuff. Here's
Right. I understand that's the risk you take, but you're also thinking of some sort of field agent who's out, undercover and doing all this. This is a computer guy, petrified for his life,
well, then
potentially.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know what the response is
Maybe.
going to be from the agency that he works for, all the rest of the alphabet agencies, the DOJ and the FBI.
Right.
You know what their response is going to be.
But then at least you tried to go about it the right way first. And then you go public. You break it, give it to Chris Wallace, right? Go public. Give it to somebody in the United States to break.
Look at
You
the
think-
James
you don't
O'Keefe
think-
videos.
You don't think, yeah.
Those
you don't-
didn't go public. It took Fox. Fox first turned him down. He was originally scheduled to be on Fox.
Mainstream media forced
But
it.
because
Get
of
a
the nature
YouTube
of the
channel.
videos,
Information is instantaneous. You cannot
Yeah, but
tell
you
me.
also have to
you
understand
cannot
that
tell me
social-
that there is no way to get that information out there.
But you also
can't tell
have
me that the
YouTube-
only way to do
But
it.
you also have YouTube, who silences conservative stations all
And
the
so
time.
does Twitter,
channels.
and so
Give
does
it to
Facebook.
SHR Media. Look, there's ways.
I
You don't
understand
have
that.
to give it to a foreign entity.
I understand that, but if you're trying to protect yourself and your family, listen, I'm not in that person's situation.
Right, but then don't try and say how righteous you are, how righteous it is.
Right. Well, so for yourself, maybe, but when it comes to your family, you have to start looking at other
You have
options.
to weigh all of that before you decide to pull that trigger.
On some level,
So,
yes, on some level,
so again,
no.
while I see that side of it, if you really have a problem with it, look, stand up and it takes courage to do the right thing sometimes.
Well, and maybe that person will come out eventually.
That's fine, but they should do it now. This information shouldn't be going for
But the-
Assange and WikiLeaks to leak out.
Well,
In my opinion.
right. I think it should
I
be
tend
out.
to agree with you. I tend to disagree with you, Clint, a little bit.
But that's why you
I
guys are both
perfectly
wrong and I'm
understand your
right.
point, though.
No, it's just the problem I have is, again,
I love how he slipped that part in.
which
And that's why you guys are wrong. I'm right. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm just going to slide under and keep going.
well, I looked at BZ for a reaction. I didn't get
The
one, so
funny
then I
part
looked
is-
over to you.
Let's
The
go
funny
over
part
here.
is I know when to dip his microphone because I know when his smart ass is coming. Go ahead, Clint.
So I looked at BZ first, and then I looked over at you. I was waiting for it. But look, so should a patriot do the right thing? Absolutely, a patriot should do the right thing. But a patriot should, if a patriot is really worried about doing the right thing, and you're doing the right thing because America stands for something, then you have to start and go through that process. And I'm not saying don't have backups, don't have other things. Hey, I tried to do it this way, and now maybe I have to go another route. But man, I have real issue with government agencies playing politics.
I think there's one extremely important aspect which kind of goes through all lines, all people, all classes that we all need to take away from this particular election, and it really doesn't have anything to do with Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. I think the biggest revelation that's been made clear to me and most everybody here and listening is that the corruption in this department, in the FBI and the DOJ at D.C., it is systemic.
Yes.
I know.
And it's don't make the mistake, it's not at the Indian level.
Okay.
It's at the chief level.
Okay. That
The-
I will tend to agree
the-
with.
Wait. How do we
Indian-
get to Cowboys and Indians?
The
No,
line
that's not a game this week.
Oh, okay,
the Indians are in the MLB playoff.
Well,
Cowboys
okay,
are,
all right,
Cowboys are
sorry.
NFL. Different.
Scary.
Yeah, you're talking about hockey, right?
It'd be Cowboys and Redskins.
Hey, Carrie Donovan in the chat room brought up a really good point that it certainly bears thinking about. Is what if that person is still gathering information to this point and hasn't been able to release it all on some level? Just food for thought before we go to break.
Look, that's fine, but then either release what you have if this is a person that's feeding this information to WikiLeaks.
Right.
But look how much WikiLeaks has come out with already.
No, I
This person could have released that on their own or done something else, and if they're still gathering information, then
And look,
great.
simultaneously, look how much from WikiLeaks, the mainstream media, what I call the American media maggots, have disdained.
Of
And
course.
have refused to even address.
Yep.
Primarily CNN.
Clinton News.
Now we got a break.
So we're up against the break. Hey, like I said, none of us are in that person's shoes.
No, but it's the system. It's the system that I'm worried about.
I agree.
You should. I have
But I'm
some
looking at
interesting
it from the
stats when we
individual
come back.
and from the and we got to get into the debate because that's why we drew everyone here tonight, right here on Sackheads Radio Show live in the SHR Media Network. Stick around. We'll eventually get to the debate after we've had.
I don't want to. You guys are mean.
doo-doo head.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying half of the stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network. Good call, pulling out.
Yes.
The Flint Tropics.
Flint, Michigan Tropics. I need a Flint, Michigan Tropics shirt.
I do too.
What would the logo be?
No, have you ever Semi-Pro.
Semi-Pro. Great movie.
Great movie. If you have not
Will
seen
Ferrell,
Semi-Pro,
it's one of those stupid
Woody Harrelson.
Shut your brain off and just sit down and watch movies.
Oh yeah.
Anchorman, along the lines of that. Really, really great. Horribly stupid.
Ronald
Flint, Michigan
Burgundy.
Tropics.
There's a bear loose. Run for your life. Use children. They like the soft flesh. Before we went to break, we were talking about WikiLeaks and the NSA and the thought that the NSA may have actually been the one releasing it and that Russia may be a cover-up for it. And, you know, we all know that Hillary's doing everything she can anyways to make Russia the biggest, baddest person on the face of the planet. Because let's face it, she had a reset button, and they didn't go for it. So she's a little pissy.
Yeah.
Well, who would you, if you're Russia, if you're Putin, put yourself in his shoes. Who would you rather see in the White House? Someone like Hillary Clinton that you could control, that you have a fairly good idea is going to keep on the sort of the same role, if you will, as Barack Hussein Obama, or somebody that's a loose cannon like Donald Trump?
Well, right.
So, to me, for that reason, that Russia's behind all of this and the little shadow puppets being pulled and strings and whatnot. For me, that doesn't play.
Right.
Let me give you some stats from a recent Pew Research Center.
Pew, 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 pew.
And that is that 1 in 8 voter registrations in the United States is significantly inaccurate or no longer valid.
Yes.
1 in 8 voter registrations. So I did the numbers. There's 318 million people in the United States. That means that 18 million people, that's 1 in 8. That's how many people are affected in this. Now go back and go through the states, Indiana, Texas, Florida, and all the other states, Virginia, that are having voter discrepancies and issues. These are not by way of interlinked digital problems. These are very localized problems. So when you think about that, are my mother and father, who passed away in 2002 and 2009, are they voting?
Well,
and if they are, I'd like to know who they're voting for.
And listen, we saw this in the last election. You saw some precincts with 103%.
Philadelphia, right?
Yep. You saw
I think.
some people voting that were dead. We've seen videos from this time of Acorn-like organizations going around registering people and then destroying Republican ballots. Was that O'Keefe or another group that had that video not too long ago?
Yeah, that was another group. But here's also the thing that I'd like to point out. People say that Republicans are always doing their level best to make sure that people cannot vote and that there's voter fraud rife throughout the Republicans. Really? Where are the videos?
Right.
Because you know for a fact if that was true and it existed, because everyone videos and photographs everything today, you know if there was the slightest hint of that, the videos would be displayed on YouTube and on the news 24/7. They're not. That tells me quite something right there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I can access all sorts of videos right now.
Whoa, we don't. This is not that kind of show. BC.
About Democrat cheating
after midnight
and false voter registration and voter fraud.
I agree. It's all over the place. It's rampant.
And
everybody knows it. That's the amazing part when you discuss it. But it's almost to the point that it's blasé with some people, right? Like
it doesn't. Yes,
I don't think they believe it.
Right. How can you
that's
not?
That's so frustrating because I have post after post, video after video, for weeks and months and literally years on end, of all that fraud and corruption on one side, and it's not the Republicans. I don't think they're smart enough to do it.
On some level, I have to agree with that. It's a scary...
It is, in fact, one-sided. If it's not, prove me wrong.
Well,
pull out all the videos, show me
campaign,
evidence.
You had nothing but the left pointing at the right for doing this wrong, that wrong, the other thing wrong, and doing this underhanded. But yet, like you just pointed out, and I agree wholeheartedly,
the mainstream American media maggots would
constantly
that out.
It's constantly the Democrats. Constantly.
Yeah. Well, look how that leaked email came when the shooter was Muslim.
Right.
Right. Oh, why couldn't his name have been whatever the hell he said?
Joe Smith.
Whatever.
Because it was inconvenient for the Democrats.
Right.
Damn. It should have been an older white guy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they were all hoping for, right?
Yep.
Every shooting.
Long hair and a beard.
Every single shooting
Santa
that comes
Claus.
out that's involved in a mass shooting, you see all
they want
these
it to be
leftist
Santa Claus.
apologists come running out saying, oh, it must have been a white guy mad at this, mad at that, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as you come out and you say, hey, what if this was a terrorist attack and he's Muslim? You're a bigot, you're a racist, you're blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And then it comes out and you're like, maybe I was right. And I bring up Orlando.
Yeah, it's probably some white ring militia gun nut extremists.
Right, and they are out there. It's not to denounce that, because I think in Kansas they had two guys from a militia group who were arrested for plotting to blow up a Somali residential building. But it's not as prominent as what the
it's
current
not nearly
is.
as prevalent.
And I go back to the Orlando nightclub shooting. That night, within 10 minutes of the attack, I was on Twitter. I listened to the whole thing, and I was following it, and I said, this sounds like a terrorist attack. And I was annihilated by people on Twitter that I would even think then it might be a Muslim who had done it.
Well, damn you for using common sense, logic,
And
proportion, and rationality. Damn you.
And then all of a sudden, the next day, all of their tweets were deleted. And I didn't even respond to them because I was trying to cover news that night. So we're in a scary place in this country in that regard.
That's the biggest takeaway. It's not Clinton or Trump. The biggest takeaway is it's finally being revealed how rife with corruption is our government.
Yep.
How sad is it that I can sit here and say I no longer trust the FBI?
Yeah.
Well, that's not sad at all, because if you trusted them before, we'd be having words.
It's just
I've never trusted the FBI. Have you?
Or the DOJ.
Hang on a second. Have you ever trusted the FBI? Exactly.
I could respond to that right now, but I won't.
Sean?
Nope. So let's move on to the debates.
Right.
But I mean, it's take an open hand
Debates.
and slap you across the face with it. It's so rampant.
And let's slap that across the face so hard that we spin around and focus on the debates.
Okay, so Sean, who won?
Well, in my opinion, or the opinion of the
No,
polls?
you.
My opinion, I think Donald Trump actually won this one.
Okay.
I thought, with the exception of one segment that we will talk about in a little bit, he overall had a really good showing. A couple times, my biggest complaint, as it has been with Donald Trump right along, is sometimes saying nothing is saying everything.
Like how many times did we just...
You're right. I'm like, dude, you just got to stop. Let her twist in the wind.
Right.
You're giving her a reason to change subjects, and she does that by herself.
Although he did call her out on it one time, which was brilliant.
Absolutely. So I think overall he had a good showing. It was his best debate yet. It certainly showed that he has learned. He came out really soft-spoken at the beginning because I think he knew that the sensitive stuff about his personal life or and the allegations that are out there were going to come up first. Even if it was a guess, he was right, and he came out soft. And then we started off really talking about, she went after Trump in her opening statements about big money, Citizens United, and what she called dark money in elections, which I thought was absolutely amazing.
What is dark money?
Hillary Clinton, of all people,
Right.
talking about money that you can't trace.
Now, but see that, on the other hand, I have to say that she handed him quite a number of golden opportunities that, in my opinion, he did not follow up on and should have. He should
agree.
have decimated her with stats.
So I'm going to start going around the room. Clint, who do you think won the election? Opening statement.
The election? I don't know. I'm
the
going to wait
debate.
until November 8th. I think that the polls aren't not really reflective of what's going on in the country. But I really don't know. I think
Well, I'll
it's
tell
going to be
you
a lot
what,
closer
Sean.
than-
He didn't just slap you. He decided to give you a right cross and an uppercut.
Hang on a
too.
second. I can't answer a question honestly without getting in trouble. I mean, the man asked me a question. I answered his question.
You build one house, BZ. You're not a carpenter, but you misspeak once and you're marked for life. Go ahead, knucklehead.
Wow.
God, that's why I love you guys.
I answer a question. And
You know what?
guy gets all uppity about it.
If you're gonna stay flapping gums for a
Jesus.
second. Somebody brought up a really good point tonight that I didn't think of. Did Hillary, when she was talking about the nuke launch code, release information that wasn't publicly known about how long it takes from the time?
4 minutes.
Somebody brought a guess.
Yeah.
2633.
Dude, you and I looked at each other when she said it.
Yeah, and you know what? It went out of my mind. So everyone roll that around in your noggin for a second. I don't want to interrupt Clint again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Clint.
Yeah, what was the question?
Who won the debate?
Oh. So here's going to be my answer. I think...
I'll end up splitting you a wig before this night is out.
I'm wearing a Merkin.
I
by
love
the way.
being here.
Go on.
Do you know what a Merkin is?
Can you just say...
PZ, do you know what a Merkin is?
Yes.
Google it. Google Merkin.
Yes.
That's what I'm wearing right now.
Do you remember Merkin Muffley and Dr. Strangelove?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, there you go. That's where it came from.
So, yeah, it's a pussy wig.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. But
From-
that's
from
why
like
he
the
was
18
named that.
So grab you by the Merkin?
Right. Grab me by the Merkin. Yeah, but they actually shave my chest hair and they make Merkin. I sell it. It's like a whole like black market thing. Did you know this? You could make a lot of money doing this.
Get it?
Like
Black?
maybe with your beard. Sean, I love the look I'm getting right now. We need a camera in studio. I think Donald Trump won the debate point for point. But, big but, I think that
and
he had...
cannot lie.
It cannot lie. I think it had... I think he had such a major... I don't even want to call it a gaffe. I think he made such a major tactical error that I don't know if...
It's recoverable?
If it's recoverable. I think that point for point, if I were keeping point for point, Trump versus Clinton, he won. That's not a question. That's not a question in my mind. But with him failing to accept, with him saying that he will not accept the election results, he's not saying that he wouldn't, but just without him coming out and saying, yes, I will accept the outcome of the election. Without him coming out and saying that, I think that he might have cost himself some voters who otherwise would have gone to him tonight because he performed so well in the debate. Look, when that's the number one thing trending on social media, and when you have people on both sides of the aisle kind of like looking at that and like, wow, are you kidding me? I think that's problematic. Because, and Chris Wallace said it, right? The balance of the exchange of power and the peaceful transition is really key and really something that we've been, as Americans, historically, that's what we do because it's a time to come together to get things that we need to do in this country. And he even laid it out in that way. And even when it was laid out in that manner, Trump still wouldn't come out, and Mike Pence said he would, and Trump still didn't come out and say that. And I think that even though he took Hillary on points, I think that one thing reinforced in everybody's mind, the people that were already on the fence about Trump, already on the fence about him being not having the temperament to be president and everything else, I think that one thing reinforced that to the point where people are not going to vote for him or they're going to vote for Hillary. And I think that is, unless he does something in the next few weeks to overcome that, or that was such a big deal and he did it on such a huge stage, being on the debate, that even if he comes out next week or tomorrow and says, oh yeah, I'll accept the results now, it's going to be because of backlash. It's going to be, and it's not going to be out there for everybody to see on the stage that it was tonight. I don't know that he can recover from that.
I think the bigger issue with that is he gave mainstream media fodder. I don't really care if he does or he doesn't. I'm sorry.
I don't either. But what I'm talking about is the people, right. the people who are on the fence about him.
Right. And I think he was playing to his base, and he had an opportunity.
He doesn't need to pay for the base.
Let me finish. He had an opportunity to reach across the aisle. I think the bigger faux pas out of that is he gave mainstream media something which in this debate he didn't do a lot. He gave mainstream media something to play over and over and over again to jam down people's throats.
He did, but not only that, Sean. I think that he doesn't have to play to his base. He needs to show that he can be presidential. His base is going to stick with him no matter what.
I understand your point,
and so I think this was a major misstep for him.
Okay,
I think and in my opinion, it's his biggest misstep. In any of the debates.
To the point where, did you notice that Wallace was actually taken aback by that answer?
Yes.
And recrafted that question again.
To give him another shot.
And that's what he did. In my opinion, that's what he did. He tried to hand it over to him in a more palatable way to see if he'd get something a little bit better back. He gave him a chance.
Well, and a lot of people are bringing up the Al Gore incident because that transition with Al Gore was not friendly. And I will say that you have to separate the two. You want to be better than that because that's the side that you're against. So, BZ, who won and your thoughts?
You're not going to like this.
Okay.
In some ways, she did better. In other ways, I think it was dead even. I don't think he won.
Silence his mic right now.
I think his best debate was number 2.
Hold on. There's like interference or something. I don't know what. Go ahead.
He said what?
Where'd BZ go?
What? Where'd he go? I've never seen somebody disappear that quick.
That was weird.
He's not a small man. I can't believe one guy carried him out.
Did he go up the chimney?
I just saw his nose wiggle and he disappeared. It was weird.
He got beamed out.
That skids on the roof? What's that?
Go ahead,
The jingle of reindeer. I was disappointed in him. I think she gave him a number of openings, a number of opportunities where he could have turned around and crammed that crap right down her throat, and he didn't. And I think it's because he's too confident. He is filled with a certain amount of arrogance, and you have to be. And I really don't think that he studied much. I really think that he thinks that he can walk onto a stage and extemporaneously pull everything out. And I think he's proven that he can't.
Well, and here's the thing.
I was disappointed. I'm sorry.
On that note, I think he almost can and just needs to study a little bit, brush up a little bit. Because if he's truly not prepping how he should be, and he's still doing fairly well and not getting blown out of the water.
Yes, exactly. Imagine how much better he could do if he were adequately prepped and had all of this information at the tip of his tongue, stashed in his brain, ready to haul right back at her.
Right. And on some level, I think the argument is this whole time he's been who he is, and if he changes it, he could lose his base. So again, it goes back to the balance, right? Which way do you go? Do you show up overly polished and now all of a sudden your base starts freaking out 2 weeks before
but I don't think his base would freak out if he came back sounding like an individual that's throwing stats and quotes at you. He had a number of times and a number of opportunities presented to him where he could have crammed all that WikiLeaks stuff down her throat. He could have mentioned all the things, the two videos that have been recently released by O'Keefe about the rampant corruption.
I don't disagree.
On behalf of the media, the DNC, Podesta's emails, it's a target-rich environment.
Look, it is, and Trump said something that was incredibly brilliant. But it got overshadowed by his not wanting to his unwillingness to say at this point that he's going to accept the results of the election. And he says he called her out. He says she is unfit to be president. He said she's guilty of very, very serious crimes. She shouldn't be allowed to run. He made a great point. Probably. One of, in my opinion, to me, when he said that, like that had a lot of impact.
Yeah,
it was one of the most impactful things he said all night.
Yes, and that's what corruption got her response.
But
the
it was
FBI
after
found me innocent.
Yeah, but it was after he said he wasn't going to accept the response, and what got picked up. It wasn't the she shouldn't even be running for president. It was the I'm not going to, because that is so far out of left field, so far out of the norm for any candidate to say that overshadows everything, and it overshadowed a tremendous retort.
So we started off right off the bat, really the main point, and I know we only have a couple minutes left in this segment, but I'm going to try to get through all the real topics for the evening. First topic out of the gate was essentially SCOTUS and the Second Amendment. That was the first big topic.
And he could have thrown it right back at her. Did he mention anything about substantially? He wanted... He didn't have to go where I'm going to try to stack the court. All he had to say is, I want people that are going to interpret the Constitution by the way that it's written. And its limiting factors. The United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights doesn't give rights to people. It limits the power of government.
And I agree with that, but I think he also was playing to more traditional Republicans.
Yes, he was.
And evangelicals,
Smart.
where he knows he had to pick it up. Look,
and I think he did, so he gained some ground there.
I absolutely
really
agree. He went with pro-life.
He was tough on when he talked about abortion.
He was very, very
tough.
He
was very, very tough.
Okay,
He was,
I can see a point, sir.
He was graphic in his
Yep.
description. Huge points for conservatives and evangelicals.
And same thing with the Second Amendment. He really went for the Second Amendment. Same thing. Hey, look, she's on record saying she wants to tear apart your rights, essentially. And he stayed strong with, hey, you know what? The NRA endorsed me earlier than any other candidate. I believe in the Second Amendment. He tied it back into SCOTUS. Want to make sure that we have people on there who will respect the Second Amendment. I thought he did fairly well. I agree he could have hit on a few different things.
He missed a golden opportunity to launch from the Second Amendment to the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is going to guarantee your ability to say what you will, speak as you will, write as you will. The First Amendment exists for challenged speak, not pablum speech. He had that opportunity and missed it.
He did, but Chris Wallace was also pretty good tonight about keeping him on point.
Right.
I was very impressed.
As
soon as
Wallace
they
was
started,
good.
When
Timing
they started,
and point.
Yeah, when they started going off the rails, like when Hillary completely didn't the quid pro quo or the pay to play, she did not answer that at all, and Chris Wallace nailed her
Held
on
her to it.
Held her to it. She still didn't answer, and then gave the floor to Trump.
The Trotta Flump?
The Trotta Flump. It's in France. You don't know where it is. I can't help it if you aren't cultured. The floor to Trump. She gave the floor to him, and he answered the question. So I don't know that he would have been able to go there. Can I just say quote of the night? Bad hombres.
We'll get to that after the break. I'm going to go down.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go down everything.
All right.
And Trump, really, really good with the Roe versus Wade conversation. Hey,
yes,
we're going to make sure we get justices that put that where it belongs back to the state. I thought
he was like, he basically said we're going to overturn Roe versus Wade and put it back at the state level.
Right. And Hillary said, I will defend Planned Parenthood. I don't think government should step in and make those decisions regarding abortion. The same person who supported Obamacare all of a sudden doesn't think the government should be in a woman's body.
Right.
When you passed Obamacare or you supported Obamacare, you put the government in everybody's body.
Yeah.
On some way, shape, or form. He, like you said, very graphic on late-term abortions.
And she didn't defend it.
Right.
She just said, she talked about how she couldn't believe, something to the effect of she couldn't believe he'd say that or give this
right.
Or he's just scare tactics. But
it's the truth.
But it is the truth.
But he missed an opportunity there also to say, based on these policies that she wants to lay out or she wants to adhere to, late-term abortion, that's not a fetus. That is an unborn baby with the same rights and liberties as any other citizen.
Yeah, and
missed opportunity there.
He could have phrased it differently, but when he said, he alluded to it. When he was
alluded
talking
to
about,
it, but he should have said, I gave him a B instead of an A.
You're right. He should have been a little bit more definitive. I said at the beginning of the show, BZ, I'll give you a second to respond, but he needs to be more yes and no in some of his answers, but that's just not who he is. BZ?
You're right. That's exactly it. That's not who he is. It doesn't matter that he can make reference and say, if you want to find all my opinions, go to my website. That's all fine and dandy. It doesn't mean a thing. It depends on what comes out of your mouth at the time. The reason I think that this was not his finest display, I think his second one was his best, is he was given a number of opportunities and he just didn't go there. I chalk that up to the lack of prep.
Okay. So we have lack of prep. We're going to go into a break. When we come back, immigration was next up. And one of the points that he made, which a lot of people, I think, in this country miss, is the impact of the borders, not just for terrorism and not just for the drugs that everyone thinks of, but heroin. And right now it's affecting where I come from in a lot of cities in a major way. And we'll discuss all that and more here on the Sackheads Radio Show post-debate special. As we, what did you call it? What did you?
Donald Flump.
The Florida Frump. The Florida Frump.
Right here.
It's in France.
Right here on the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying calf was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show. The Tour de Flump.
Tour de Flump.
I love that name. That's a great name.
That's the name of tonight's show. Post it.
Yeah, when you post it, you'll have to stick in there the flump.
Tour de Flump.
Okay, so I was just on break. I was going through CNN.
Oh, I'm sure they have nice balanced coverage because Clinton said a lot of bad stuff, right?
It is amazing to me. It's everything negative Trump.
What?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
By exception of Clinton going after his lack of experience in government, which, how can anyone argue that? He's never been an elected official before.
No.
I mean, really.
Her experience in business.
Right. Let's see. CNN poll is saying that Clinton won 52 to Trump's 39, but it's CNN. So let's move along. The second topic that was really hot was the
well, hang on a second.
Border.
MSNBC, Trump moderators are aghast at Trump's refusal to say he'll accept election results. Yeah, that's what on their homepage.
There's your point right there.
And they're going to
homepage. Trump refuses to say he'll accept election results.
I'm not denying that.
No, you brought up CNN, so I'm just checking MSNBC for us.
Okay. No, I was.
Yeah, don't need to get nasty.
Well, I'm not getting nasty.
Oh, hang on. Here's another headline from them. Trump calls Clinton a quote nasty woman.
She is.
I agree.
You know, one of the comments that I said too is she brought up something that he called people, and it was like disgusting or something like that, and he tried to make it. Or she tried to make it like he was physically describing everybody when he called him disgusting, And I put it out on Facebook. I said, you know how many people I've called disgusting and it's had nothing to do with their appearance? People are disgusting through their actions just as well as you could say through appearances. So I just thought it was funny that she would twist that around. But number 2 is immigration. And this is where
I love it.
Probably the quote of the night comes out. But Donald opened up with essentially, we have no country if we have no borders.
Yep.
And then he brought out heroin. And a lot of people who aren't living in major cities or big cities may not
And it's
realize,
not a female hero.
Right. Heroin, the drug, black tar heroin, may not realize
They have brown tar, too.
the effect of heroin on these communities. And I know growing up in Massachusetts, and all my roots are back there, you have scores of people overdosing on heroin right now. And it's a major epidemic. Massachusetts has made it a huge epidemic. People are dying by and large, unfortunately.
Well, of all states,
Yeah.
it's rampant in, New Hampshire.
Yeah?
New Hampshire.
Oh, it's huge in New Hampshire. And I'll tell you right now, it comes in through the shipping lanes in Massachusetts. You have all the ports, Gloucester, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, all the big fishing ports. That's where it's coming up the coast and in from because it's harder to track. So the fact that he brought that up, I think will touch a lot of people. And then he also said, as Clint quoted earlier, we have some bad hombres here.
I thought that
need
was
to get rid of them.
brilliant.
I thought it was brilliant,
I thought
too.
it was brilliant.
I thought it was absolutely great. To answer Ken McClinton's question, no, Madonna will not be giving anything out if you are the 10th caller tonight when we open up the phones.
Okay.
Ken, if you call in and you're number 10, I'll give you a
Hey, no. He gets 2/3 of whatever you're offering.
Okay, he gets 2/3 of a porcelain Dalmatian.
And I honestly thought, she said, I don't want to see deportations for the deportation force that Donald Trump has talked about, putting people on trains and having law enforcement go to schools and businesses and round people up, making a reference very much to Nazi Germany.
That's not what he was talking about.
I know, but that was what she said.
And yes, that's precisely it. All you have to do, here's what you have to do. Let ICE and the Border Patrol do their job.
And that's exactly what he said, essentially.
That's all you need to
But
do.
Here, Border Patrol, very interesting. Trump brought it up early in the debate in this segment,
Yeah,
where
he
he
was the
says the
first.
Border Patrol has endorsed him.
Right. Yes.
First time that's ever happened.
Yes.
Correct.
What do you think is going to happen to the Border Patrol if
he
Hillary
doesn't
Clinton
win.
gets elected?
Oh, yeah, they're going to get cleaned out.
Absolutely.
Everyone who's in that union is going to be fired for some reason or another.
And do you think how secure are our borders going to be? How will their
it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, will they have backing if they have to
Well-
use deadly force? Will they have backing if they make arrests? Will they be able to do anything?
And even so, the experience portion, right? Even if they just replace body for body and start finding reasons to get rid of seasoned people who know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
you now lose that information and knowledge for political gains.
If you have next 4 years under Hillary Clinton, in my mind, that means that you're going to have another 4 years of probably another leftist. And here's what I'm predicting is going to happen. You're going to discover that those particular individuals who are being solicited to serve in either one of these two venues, the military or law enforcement, you're not going to fill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And also, Trump brought up tonight a great point about Hillary as a senator voting for the same wall that he is proposing to build.
And her rejoinder is, I didn't say that.
Right. But it was truth. I mean, she did vote for
Yes.
it. So I thought that was pretty solid. And then it got interesting. Chris Wallace brought out WikiLeaks and how
I didn't think he was going to go there.
and how Hillary got paid $250,000 for a speech to a bank in Brazil where she was talking about open borders and open border trade. And she never responded to the question.
Exactly.
She started to go after Russia.
Yes.
She started to twist in the wind.
Yep.
And at the point where Donald Trump turned around and says, hey, great pivot out of that question of open borders, as she was trying to play her game, which I think nailed it.
Yep.
Called her on it. Straight to her face. She had nothing. No answers for that whatsoever. So I thought that was pretty good. And then they got into Russia and China, and Hillary claiming that it was Russia and China that hacked us. And, Trump retorted, essentially, you don't know who hacked us.
Yep.
And what he should have said, and I put this out on Facebook, is you don't even know who got into your server. How do you know who got into everybody else's?
As far as she was concerned, it was secure because she had Secret Service agents on
Standing
the
in
premises.
front of it, and she cleaned it with the sponge.
Right. So, hey, that's all the security I need. My server is secure.
So-
What are you talking about?
He absolutely did miss an opportunity to say something to that effect, in my opinion. Also, they kind of teetered off into Russia and nukes and the relationship with Russia. It was one of those times that he had her on the ropes with the relationship with Russia. And then when it was his chance to respond, he should have went right to the nuke numbers. He started to go after her history, which everybody knows about her history is abhorrent with Russia. He tried to go after the relationship with Putin. He should have just went to the nukes, the number of nukes. Hey, they're out nuking us. The last time this happened, essentially, they lost the Cold War.
And he could have gone after the soft policies of Obama, which is why we're in the position that we are now. Leftists do not understand the basic premise, the foundational motivations of humans.
Yes.
If you face a bully, you don't walk away.
Right.
And China is emboldened by this. I said this, I don't know, I might have said this on Monday on Ken's show. One of the two reasons that China and Russia and North Korea are standing up to the United States right now. One of them is because they know that definitely under Obama, we are a paper tiger. The second reason that they're doing that is economics. They are in an economic problem area.
Right.
All of their status, their printing money, etc., is all problematic all across the board for Russia, China, and of course North Korea. Those are the two major reasons why we're seeing pushback, why they're building an island, why Russia is standing up and felt emboldened enough sufficiently to just march into Ukraine.
I agree.
Knowing full well, we're not going to do anything. Nor have we.
all.
We set a red line, and it didn't mean a damn thing.
Then we went to Clint. Anything you want to add before we go to economy?
No, I said my piece on the immigration.
Okay.
I think he's right. We do have a lot of bad hombres.
Huge bad hombres. Go to economy, and one of the sectors that she said needed bolstering essentially was the
My pocketbook.
Climate change.
Oh.
She brought up climate change being part of the economy. So she did her whole, I'm going to push that out and get the green people in, essentially tax the rich, the same thing we get out of left all the time. Increase
blah,
minimum
blah, blah.
wage. She cited Bernie Sanders at one point to try to get some Bernie Sanders supporters in. Not a whole lot. It went back to Trump, and the same thing with Trump, too. Her tax plan is a disaster. He kind of dawdled on some things and answered a question from before, which I think he should have just moved on. But he talked about renegotiating NAFTA, put that back on the Clintons, which NAFTA was a major destruction to our economy. Everybody knows that. She brought up the Chinese steel that was used in his building, and he essentially said, I was forced. He could have said that a little bit more clear. We had hoped, but it was what he was getting at is, hey.
Well, who makes steel in the United States?
Right.
Guess whose steel is in the Bay Bridge
Right, China.
in San Francisco?
China.
It's not American steel.
Right, because we don't make it.
And guess what they're having with the Bay Bridge? Terrible
Problems.
metal problems.
Yes.
Yep. Big problems.
There's no steel like American steel, and
No.
everybody knows that.
Well, that's because there is no American steel.
Yes, pretty much. All gone.
Well, now, yeah. I mean, now there's no American steel. Doo-doo head.
I think the Pittsburgh
Did you
Steelers
just
should
call him
change
a
their
doo-doo
name.
head?
Because it's a lie. If the Redskins are having so much pushback from their name, then why should the Steelers not have pushback?
Well, shouldn't they be called the Pittsburgh Out of Jobbers?
Yeah, or the Pittsburgh Empty Factories.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I like that one. That would make a great logo.
You like that one?
Yes, I could dream up the logo for
Yes.
And then She went on saying
The Pittsburgh Unions?
Yeah. She went on saying she won't add a penny to the debt. And
she wouldn't add 1 penny to the debt.
Yeah, it would be a hell of
billions
a lot of
pennies to the debt.
Hell of a lot. Trillions, probably more.
Bazillions.
She went to Obama inheriting this debt that we were in, which kills me because wasn't he just the other day hitting Trump for whining about the election being rigged?
Yes,
And
Obama was.
And now all of a sudden she's going to bring up yet again the president whining over the inherited debt. Well, hey, this is your problem.
Yeah.
Deal with it. So it just showed the two-face once again. Asked straight away if she would use the Obama stimulus, which only had trillions of dollars. Somebody's saying trillions. Big mouth patriot. Trillions of pennies. Sorry, trillions. If it was a combination, if she would use Obama's stimulus, she said it was a combination. So yes, is the long and short out of that. And then went after him for essentially lowering taxes on corporations and businesses in this country and where the wealth is generated, so they'll have jobs that come back. And she
See, another perfect opening for
kills
him.
me.
Perfect opening. Taxes on businesses at 15%. That's where it should be. In the civilized world, the United States taxes on businesses are the greatest.
Yes.
Not in the UK, not in Norway, not in Sweden, not in all the places you would expect in the United States. So that's why apparently we must tax them even more.
I agree. It's ridiculous. And she even brought up China selling steel here, and she would create a position called a trade prosecutor to make sure that those deals are even. If it's anything like Comey, you can imagine that it's going to be a nice, even trade prosecutor, because one
Right.
thing we need is more government.
Sure, more czars that don't answer to anyone,
Anybody
that weren't
whatsoever.
elected. Perfect. Just like the EPA.
And then she was talking about the economy. They had a little back and forth, and he brought up the State Department losing $6 billion while Clinton was in charge, and he essentially said, how do you lose $6 billion?
That was amazing.
And I was dying.
I would play that over and over and over
again.
and over. How do you lose $6 billion?
Yep.
How do you lose $6 billion?
And then she spun it about how when she was working in the black community at a young age, all this, she had no real solid responses for economy, which when it comes to, if you're Trump, and I say this all the time, hey, listen, you want to see what I did with the economy, my economy personally? Look at my businesses. What wealth has she created? I'll talk to you when you tell me. And go from there. Which he did a fairly good job of that tonight, right? The pressure was on her with the economy questions. Everybody knows that she was a NAFTA supporter. Everybody knows that she's going to just stick it to the 1% and destroy the middle class if she had a chance. So,
Do you know that because of NAFTA, we still don't search trains that go north-south?
Yes.
So where do you suppose the engaged cartel member is attempting to supplant drugs? Yes, pretty good idea. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, because of the NAFTA agreement, part of the agreement was we will not be searching trains.
That go north to south.
And Kansas City Southern is one of the major railroads. I happen to know a bunch about railroads that travels north and south. And they are, in fact, not searched. Not going south, not going north.
Absolutely amazing to me. Absolutely amazing.
Are we still talking about the economy?
Yes.
I have a term I want Donald Trump to use.
I'm glad you're sticking with the show.
No, I want to make sure. I want to make sure you're not getting ready to move on, smartass.
Hey, I just woke up. We're still talking economy.
I had a Joe Biden moment. Oh, look.
Hey, we still talking about broads? Yeah. That's a Joe Biden
Hand me
moment.
that shotgun.
Smart aleck. No.
All you need is a shotgun.
I want Donald Trump to use a term. Milliard.
Okay.
When referring to the debt from now on.
Milliard?
Milliard.
Milliard.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Milliard.
Like mallard, only
No,
with an
like
I.
milliard. Yes. So feel free, look it up, and tell me how you think he can push this in to his speeches.
Okay.
Let's see if my
Milliard.
Let's see if my laptop works.
Yeah.
1,000 million.
Which is also
a term
billion.
now largely superseded by billion.
Right.
Billion.
It's the original term for billion.
Milliard.
He's a milliardaire.
I like that.
I'm not a billionaire. I'm a
a
milliardaire. I'm a milliardaire.
Oh, and then so then we
just to confuse her.
Then we move along, and we get into, on top of the WikiLeaks conversation, Trump brings up the Project Veritas videos. Hey, your campaign is essentially hiring people to incite riots.
He hung it on her.
at
He
my
said
events. You.
He said you.
And that's when she rebutted with the disgusting comment. And then tried to say he incites violence. Because of the few times when people have gotten out of control in his comments at his events. But I'm like, but those people were put there by you to incite the violence.
Right, exactly.
Right. So how is that his responsibility?
I had an argument with the troll today about saying that it's the Trump people that are behind all the violence. And all I did is I said, moron, do you know how to read?
No, that's the problem.
No, they don't know how to read. Or they're so blinded by who they're going to vote for. And this is what I was talking about with Trump earlier when you were talking about him playing to his base. The base is the base. Hillary Clinton's base is going to vote for Hillary Clinton regardless if she pulled the trigger and killed Ambassador Stevens herself. They'd vote for her. She could have given up the nuclear launch codes and they'd still vote for her. Donald Trump could have ass-raped 14 women at a Miss America pageant and his base will still vote for him. So I don't think they need to play to their bases, either one of them. And I think Donald Trump missed an opportunity when, like you said, he was really kind of playing to his base. He doesn't need to do that at this point in the election. The election's 3 weeks away. 20 days, less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah,
we're 20 days away.
Needs expansion, and if there were another debate, I'd say, dude, you've got to do some show prep.
But there's not. His base
And
is
that's
his
the problem.
His base is his base.
That was his last shot.
I still think he won the debate on points. But man, he by playing to the base and not accepting it, man, he really hurt himself. Hurt himself.
I agree. We got up to special access by donors was a topic.
She didn't even
that
answer.
Chris Wallace. Oh, yeah. And all she said was, everything I did essentially was for the furtherance of our country.
Yes, and then she went on.
And she didn't deny it.
No, she didn't. And then she went on to the Clinton Foundation. It was a commercial.
Yes. Yes.
It was a commercial.
A 2-minute commercial for the Clinton Foundation.
And
which almost says to me that she might be scared because she needs to secure her job if this doesn't work out.
No, it says to me that she didn't know how to answer the question. And so she just went to this commercial for the foundation about how awesome it was, and people are giving money there.
Yeah.
And so maybe how important it was, almost like a justification. And because if the foundation is that important and does that good, well, then of course I should see these people because look at the good we're doing. We want them to give more money so that we can do good.
Right.
Is kind of how I took it. And Trump called her on it.
Well, and he said, why don't you give back the money from certain countries that donate to your campaign who treat people horribly?
No, who donated to the Clinton Foundation. Right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who
that treat women like Saudi Arabia.
Yep. Horribly. And she didn't respond to that either.
No.
At all.
She essentially said the money's gone. We spend 90% on
this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
And then
guess where it didn't go? It didn't go to, sure as hell didn't go to Haiti.
At all. She circled that conversation back to illegal immigrants.
She was all over the place. I think Trump kicked her ass on that.
Yeah. And then we get to the point that we've already discussed, him not accepting or refusing to outright accept.
And here's the bad thing. I think that was such a poor mistake that almost for me that's almost like the highlight of the debate.
That's fodder for CNN.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's almost the highlight of the debate, and it shouldn't be because he won on so many different points.
They'll turn that into the point.
But that is the big look. What is the thing I'm talking about most on this debate. It's that.
Yeah.
And I'm a conservative.
Well, and like I said, I don't know. I don't think that should be the only issue that comes out of this. That's just my opinion.
It shouldn't be. You're right.
But they're going to make it.
They're going to make it the only issue.
Then maybe I'm smarter than MSM. Anyhow.
That's not saying much, Sean.
We go to the ISIS-Iraq issue, talking about the push in Mosul. Hillary essentially said, I will not put American soldiers into Iraq as an occupying force.
No boots on the ground.
Looking towards Kurds and spec ops for dealing with ISIS. Do this huge intelligence surge for ISIS. That she pushed the no-fly, no-buy thing when it came to Syria, talking about no-fly zones. She ducked the question of, would you shoot down
a Russian jet? Yep.
Jets, which is huge because it shows that she's either not prepared or doesn't want to say the truth.
Yep.
Either way, she punted on that and denied the answer.
Yep.
The question was cited over to Donald Trump. He brought up the element of surprise and essentially said, hey, we keep saying everything we're going to do ahead of time instead of just doing it. And why are we even going to Mosul right now? They knew we've been coming for 3 days. Everyone you're trying to get in Mosul's gone.
Yep.
And I agree with that sentiment very, very much so.
You don't trot out tactics and strategy in public. Unless you're Barack Obama.
Right. And you know
and
how
you're
many
stupid.
How many of my veteran friends online, text message, whatever, immediately contacted me when that was said and said how infuriating it was. That when they were over there under the Bush administration, all the attacks were just done. Outside of the initial shock and awe, and it's because we had air superiority, so we could do shock and awe. But all the ground attacks were never televised. We're just going to do it, and now we televise everything. It made the news after it started, specifically Fallujah. When the Battle of Fallujah really took place, it made the news after the push was made. And Trump put it on Hillary Clinton and Obama. Hey, once you were in Iraq, you never should have left. Talking about the vacuum that was left when ISIS grew. So I think he made a lot of good points in that. And then we only have a couple minutes left, and we're going to open up the phone lines after the break. He brought up the John Podesta in his emails, which I thought was great. John Podesta said terrible things about you. He was right.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders said you had poor judgment. He was right. And then we got to the end, the closing arguments.
Now, I got sent a text by one of my friends because I couldn't listen to it. I was driving over here, and he said Trump's close was great, but I didn't hear it. So what was it?
Essentially, he just reinforced his points, but he did it very, very well. How he was going to fight for the country, bring back jobs, bring back safety, work for the people, and give people an opportunity was the long and short. But it was more of his presentation. It was actually the most presidential, if you will. He talked directly to the camera.
Yep.
He didn't go off at all. He didn't start, he didn't use the word huge or anything like that. He was very sincere. It actually, you felt like he was talking to you and not a crowd. Hillary Clinton said the word fairer in her closing statement.
Which means tax the crap out of you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And her closing comment was, and I give Chris Wallace a lot of credit. He said, hey, I know neither one of you has agreed to closing comments, but we're going to do it anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah. But she said, we should make America what it should be. After she slammed him for his Make America Great Again. What do you think this country is? Blah, 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 blah. Her closing argument is, well, we're going to make America what it should be.
It's almost like she wanted to say we're going to make America great again.
Yes! I was just like, well, what should it be? If it's not perfect now after 8 years of Obama in your mind.
It's too bad he didn't hand her a red hat.
If I was the Trump people, I would be on that. I'd be like, thank you for finally agreeing with our slogan.
Yes. Yeah. I would absolutely put it out there.
I would put it on an ad right now.
Even Hillary Clinton thinks we should make America great again.
Yep, and then play that. We need to make America what it should be.
Great.
Yep.
So that is it for the debate. I do want to get
Except
back.
for one extra point. Can I throw this in real
Of
quick?
course.
Remember we went to Freedom Fest in Las Vegas?
Yes. You
And
did?
we spoke to Don King.
Yes.
And Don King mumbled and whatnot. Basically, at the end of it, said that essentially he would support Donald Trump. Do you know who came out recently, within the
Louis
past 2
Farrakhan.
days, and said he would support Donald
Louis
Trump?
Farrakhan.
Louis Farrakhan?
Yep. In his quote, he said, because Obama has done nothing for the African American
Yes.
community, and he believes that Obama would do better than Hillary.
I was
That Trump would.
floored.
What did I say?
Obama.
He'd do better than Hillary, too.
So would Trump.
But yeah,
Focus.
That was a given.
Focus. Okay.
I did run a quick poll afterwards on who won the debate, completely scientific, on Twitter. 143 votes at this moment. Has Donald Trump up 62-38. When I hashtagged both campaigns, the main debate, the secondary debate hashtag, and both slogans to try to keep it as balanced as humanly possible. So 143 votes, 62% for Trump, 38 for Clinton. So we're going to take a break. When we come back,
People in chat have been asking for the number.
I'm going to put it out there.
Put it up there now.
No.
Now.
No.
Now.
I will put it up when I'm ready. I have to operate the board.
1-800.
No way.
Your
I
mom.
have to operate the board. Here's how it's going to work, because I know what's going to happen. We're going to get 95,000 phone calls.
That's going to shut the system down.
Most likely. And even more importantly, Lusty Dominique's going to try to slide in. So I got to avoid that.
You're going to try and slide in Lusty Dominique?
When we come back in 3 minutes, you will get the SHR Media call-in line. First come, first serve, 5-minute limit.
It's 1.
1-800-EAT-FLUMP.
Eat flump. All that more. Sackheads Radio Show. Live callers after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Kyle was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reverb Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network. Phone lines will be opening as we speak. Phone number is 916-282-9806. Once again, 916-282-9806. And once I get them rolling, which will just take me a second or two, we will be good to go.
Now we're just going to sit here, right? Dead air? And not
Dead air the entire time.
Right? Okay.
BZ.
Sir?
Will anyone get a bounce from this debate? What do you think?
I think she will.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm still of the opinion that I think his strongest debate was number 2.
Okay.
This was not his weakest. His weakest was the first. I'd place this his second best debate.
All right. Unknown caller. So I'll tell you. Of course, the first phone number I get right off the bat happens to be an unknown caller. Because why not, right?
Well, what do you want it to flash up and say that? I mean, how many people listen to us? You think you want everybody's name to just pop up?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Go ahead, unknown caller. You're on the Sackheads Radio Show.
I always come out the unknown caller. What the hell is this? How you doing, you bad old Chris?
Phone number 813, you're on hold. Unknown caller, go ahead, sir.
G'day, Sobres. Hey, how you doing?
How are you,
Oh, well, how are you?
Yeah. You know, hey, man, I gotta say, I've been observing that Hillary Clinton looked constipated out there. Kel was asking if she was wearing a leg brace. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my
Dan
God,
mentioned that in chat.
Medical pump thing. And Mark, I totally got you back, man. The first thing I thought of when she rolled out on that stage was, overpriced Nehru jacket. What the hell is this? I'll bet you that thing costs $10,000.
At least.
I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to take that bet. Probably not. Now, very quickly, I think she got in some of the better zingers, quite honestly, some of the better short zingers. I think Trump did pretty well on points. And I got to say, I know, Sean, you disagree with this, but the whole deal with Trump supposedly whining because he thinks the system is rigged, which it is. No. I immediately thought of Al Gore. This guy has spent 16 years, he and his supporters have spent 16 years saying they was robbed in the 2000 election. And this brings us to one other thing. Okay, why is it that the progressives, and only the progressives, can talk about injustices? Why is it only them that can talk about the injustices? One of the great freedoms that we have in the United States of America is to say, just like we would say at a football game when a zebra gives a bad call, we was robbed. Okay?
Well, Aggie, and I love you, buddy. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I heard the butt in that.
Yeah, no, it's coming.
Yeah.
And he knows. Aggie knows me. There's enough in this election that you don't even need to point back, right? There's so much dirty crap in this election that you don't need to point back to what Al Gore is doing. And look, the Project Veritas and the Ted Cruz tweet today about the 45 meetings with Obama, the voter fraud operative, the guy who has since resigned since the Veritas video.
Right.
I think it was Creamer.
Yes,
who's a
exactly.
convicted felon meet with the president.
Really?
45 times. So
only on Sackheads Radio. Go ahead.
Well,
guys.
yeah. Why not? So what I'm saying is there is enough BS with this election where it can stand on its own 2 feet. We don't need to cite the darkness of the past. We can deal with this one and make it prevalent instead of sounding whiny like Obama does every time he brings up Bush economy, 8 years, blah, 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 bullshit.
Well, all I'm saying, though, Sean, and I'll leave it at that because I know I only got 5 minutes, man, is, there has to be equity here, okay?
Yes.
If the left can whine, I mean, Obama's done nothing but whine for 8 years. If the left can whine about injustices, then the right can talk about them too. And yes, let's indeed give those examples when we talk about the injustices of voter fraud, and indeed how the entire system is rigged, man. It's rigged just like the like Super Bowl 50. Come on, all right. So guys, I'm going to let you go. Great show.
Hey,
Thanks, Unpleasant Blind Guy.
Thank you so much, buddy. It's always a pleasure to hear from you and Unpleasant Blind Guy right here on the SHR Media Network.
I think he's very pleasant.
I do too. I think it's a
I've
mislabel.
been saying that from the beginning.
That is not true, Sean. That is not true.
Well, now.
Why is it always me?
Because you're a blatant bigot, not just for race when it comes to Ken, but also for disability.
Wait, you're saying that he's an ADA bigot? Is that what he is?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
that's okay. When we meet, I'll give you some cane practice.
You have permission to cane him.
Hey, Agador, and
awesome.
I know, and before Clint says, "Oh, what do you mean? Have you seen?" I know that you can. The YouTube video of the guys messing with the blind guy walking with the cane, and he lights the guy up with his cane across the knees and drops him. It's a great video. I saw it the other day. The two 18-year-old kids running around the blind guy making faces and all this other stuff. And as soon as the kid kind of turns around and starts to walk away, the dude just nails him right across the knees,
awesome.
Drops him. And I immediately thought of you, a man with a cane.
Kind of what I do when I'm in a crosswalk and I know there are cars that inch halfway out into the crosswalk. They receive a little bit of a whack on their headlights and things. It's purely by accident, though, mind you.
Well, of course it can't. I mean, it can't help you. I mean, what are you going to do? What are they going to say? Oh, a blind guy was using his cane to cross the street, and I was in the crosswalk, and he hit my car.
Dave, I have to tell you right now, I'm being honest. My favorite TV series, Daredevil.
Oh, Daredevil is friggin' awesome, man.
Well, that's just now you're just pandering.
Yeah, now come on.
Now you're just pandering to the blind guy.
If I can't pander, then what can I do?
My favorite superhero is Batman. So there you go, guys.
I would agree with that.
Random.
Batman's pretty high on my list as well.
See, I had to abandon all DC Comics when they made Green Lantern a gay guy and Superman renounced his U.S. citizenship.
That's a whole other show, boys.
And that would be the nerdiest show that's ever aired.
Oh, yeah, but we need to talk about this.
It would be awesome. You know who you need to bring in for that? You need to bring in a guy named Small G Gay and, invite him in.
Yes.
He's a comics geek. He's awesome. If you could get him in on a show like that, it would be great.
Yeah, no, I know
That's
exactly
awesome.
what you're talking about. So maybe we'll have to set that up after the election, and we need a little downtime.
That's the Comic-Con SHR style.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy, you can find him right here on the SHR Media Network. Agador, thank you, sir. 813, caller 813, you're on the air with the Sackheads Radio Show. Good evening.
You don't know my area code yet?
You know what it is, Joe? Honestly, I'm petrified. All of these calls that are coming in, I am absolutely petrified with who it might be. So
why?
There's an area code for Tanzania in there. Why is someone calling from Tanzania?
It's showing up.
Sean, it's been a while since we've done this, but we used to be pretty badass at this.
I know.
Well, so far so good. I mean, one caller, you already let him go over the time limit. I tell you, you're starting to sound like some liberal moderators here.
Well, clearly Sean is the liberal one in this group, which is why he's all willy-nilly with the time. He's not a rule follower.
Well, what I wanted to call in on is the one thing that really ticked me off about the whole debate when Trump was talking about gays getting thrown off the roof, did anybody pay attention to Hillary as she started laughing about it?
No.
Oh, I missed that.
No, I missed that.
She started chuckling when he talked about in Saudi Arabia, they throw gays off the roof.
Well, that's true. It's not just in Saudi Arabia, also.
This is all over the Middle East.
Well, yeah, it's all over the Middle East, but still, for her to sit there and chuckle.
No, it's
good. Oh my God!
Holy crap!
You know what?
did I
You know
miss
what's
that.
interesting about that is Trump actually has a pretty decent gay following. Wasn't there an artist that had like a that did
Milo?
Was it in New York? Right?
Yep, Milo.
Yeah, where he did a whole thing and pro Trump guy. But he actually has a big following, and I think since the Florida nightclub shooting,
It's increased.
It's increased.
Yep, I agree with you.
Well, he's the only one that's talking about securing the borders, right to carry guns. She wants to take guns away from everybody and, open the borders up. And the ones that are going to get hit hard are the gays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you talk about borders and you talk about the Syrian refugees and all the refugees pouring over the border, and even if you don't do the refugees, right, if they sneak into Mexico and sneak up through, they have, we saw it in the New York bombings recently, Orlando, gays have been targeted by these Muslim terrorists, and they know it. And Orlando really woke up the sleeping giant, and sort of, I don't want to say they poked the bear, because there's a whole bunch of jokes that'll be made there.
I don't get it.
Leftists are sufficiently stupid to not know that they would be the first targeting of Muslims.
Yeah, but they've been told for how long that they're safe.
It's their
that
friends.
They'll be protected.
Well, and they're also told that we have to love everyone. And I mean, you literally have Diane Frankenstein who said, when the armed person realizes that everyone else has put down the guns, they'll lay down their weapons. That's their mindset.
That happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah, all the time.
And it's ridiculous to me.
Well, like we're giving ISIL ammunition by calling them Muslims
ISIS.
We're associating Muslims with ISIS. We're giving them
The other thing I
ammunition.
wanted to touch on real quick is
Take your time.
A lot of people are saying about how Trump didn't nail her to the wall. He also has to play a
Well, he
very
already got in
fine
trouble for bad
line.
things with women.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, he has to play that fine line because if he hits her too hard, he's attacking her. He hates women, yada yada. But if he doesn't hit hard enough,
I would have
you get what
loved
you
it.
got.
I would have loved it if Trump came out and complimented her. Seriously, like if he came out and he said something like, "You look very nice," or like something kind of off the wall, like nobody's really meant to hear it, but maybe like the mic kind of caught it, like just kind of played that, that would have thrown her off her game so much. That would have thrown her off her game and probably would have made her a little moist. I'm not going to lie. So
I was with you until you used the M word.
What?
Yeah, that.
There goes my sex drive for the next.
Yeah, no kidding, Joe. Thanks for telling me that. That's absolutely true. Moist.
You
Oh
just
my
made
God.
Viagra medicine stock go up.
They should advertise with us.
Single-handedly.
Here's what you're not seeing, though. And here's what you're not seeing through CNN. LA Times poll, all tied up. Rasmussen, all tied up.
Yeah.
Seeing or hearing anything about that? No.
Nope, not at all.
Is that the debate poll?
Yes. Well, no, that's overall post-debate right there. Just came up on Drudge.
Well, Hillary's got her,
So Trump got a bounce.
paid trolls out there, and they're really pushing the online polls this time to try to bump her up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Trump outperforms her so handily on social media and social media traffic.
Investors Daily or Business Daily, politics. Trump leads Clinton by 1 point going into debate. IBD-TIPP poll. Leading by 1 point after all that crap that they tried to throw at Trump in the past week and going into the debate leading by 1 point.
But then you have other polls saying he's down by 6, down by 7.
That's why I'm saying it's
I don't
all
believe
a
the
bunch
polls
of
in this
tripe.
race.
Yeah.
I
Every
don't.
one of those polls have been debunked and shown that they're heavily Democrat-sided at polls.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Mitt Romney was ahead in the polls, and he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, and we go back to Brexit, right? Look at what happened with Brexit.
Yep.
That poll, however,
Carter.
was saying that it was the
Carter
most
was
accurate
up
in
on,
2012.
You're right. Carter was up on Reagan.
Yep. So, I mean, we all know polls suck. Right now, after the last debate is when the polls will start to be a little bit more honest, because those poll companies have to prove integrity, so they can point to something after the election and say, look how close we were.
Look, polls are good for vaulting and dancing.
That's about
That's it.
Yep.
Nothing better than a good poll in the bedroom.
So to speak.
Oh, yeah, and for sliding down. Sorry.
If you're a fireman. Hey, Jersey Joe, tell everyone where they can hear you, find you. You know the routine, my friend.
Go on, everybody knows. You can catch me on SHR Media every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or you can go to Reverb.1.
Southside Mutts on Wednesday afternoons.
Oh, Southside Mutts, of course. You got Wednesday nights on SHR Media, 8 to 9. You got two Jersey boys talking like idiots.
And it's brilliant. I must say, it is brilliant. Oh, man. Joe, thank you so much.
We're the East Coast version of the Sackheads.
I was going to say magical.
It is magical.
Absolutely.
If you can understand a damn thing they're saying and they don't talk about the Flyers, it's a great show.
Zing!
Love you, buddy.
Take it easy, guys.
Hey, take care.
Say Joe.
Oh, great show. Joe has me on all the time. Just great, great guy. All right, we have another unknown call. All you people blocking your damn.
What do you
number
mean,
when
you people?
call.
You don't know if it's Ken.
Oh, crap. Is it Ken? Unknown caller. Oh, no!
Is it?
Oh, no, it's even worse. It's Lustful Dominique.
Yes!
Lustful Dominique makes his appearance back here on the Sackheads Radio Show.
Wait a minute. If that's her?
Him.
Him?
Shim.
Okay.
Shim.
Then I'm about to have my cherry broken.
Hi, Dominique.
Hi, Dominique.
Hi.
Hello, Dominique.
Dominique, I want to apologize.
The phone line for Southside Mutts. Oh, I just love you, Jersey. Oh, you are just... I really love listening to you, Jersey.
I want to apologize, Dominique, for my partner saying "you people" when he knew. I'm sure he knew that it was you. But I don't know if he was referring to you people in the black sense or in the transgender sense. But either way, it's wrong.
I'm Hispanic. It doesn't matter. All races. We're one people. All lives matter. Especially when Carter's up on Reagan. And I just love that movie. It's the best movie I've seen in a long time.
Carter on Reagan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was worried about that.
Can you play a clip from that movie? Do you have it keyed up?
Oh, sure he does. Right, just like that.
Shim.
I probably could. It's almost as dazzling as the new Mafia 3 video game. Without the hardcore exterior, if you know what I mean.
Lustful Dominique, did you, with the last time you called in and our friend Dan Butcher was filling in for Clint, we never discussed whether or not...
love Danny.
I know you
Danny.
do. I know you.
I was stalking him the other day. I was looking outside. Oh, he just looked so gorgeous in his. Oh, I just love that T-shirt and cap. He just looked like a Southern belle. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm falling in love with Lustful Dominique.
But my question to you, Lustful Dominique, is...
You can ask me anything. Almost. I'm not giving away any secrets.
Not like Hillary. Do you follow politics?
I love her nuclear code.
What?
4.
4.
There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the kind of combination an idiot would have on their luggage. Lustful Dominique, do you follow politics at all?
Well, only if he looks good.
No,
I mean, feel good. I will follow politics everywhere.
Not Paul a tick. Politics, like elections and stuff like that.
No, not erections. Elections with an L. Yeah.
Oh, clutch the pearls. I am so sorry. I misunderstood.
I know. Clutch the pearls.
I actually caught that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It'll be better.
Who are you voting for in this election, Lustful Dominique?
Well, I was thinking about Michael Kors. But so he's pretty racy. I'm more of Karen. Karen Kors line is a little bit more subtle. So I think I'll go Karen this year.
Okay, when you said clutch the pearls, were you referring to the necklace?
Yeah. You beat me to that question, damn it.
Oh, who's getting beat? Oh, I love this chat room. Oh, listen, I was so happy watching the debate tonight because that man just roasted. He just rode all over that man. That man was just awesome, and I love the Mao Zedong outfit he wore. It was just the most appealing thing. I wish there were more debates.
Lustful, Dominique?
Lust.
I don't think you realize that's actually Hillary Rodham Clinton.
A girl.
I know. Human and I have been together. You know.
Yes.
Are you providing information that only you would have?
Oh, didn't you get the code?
Four was the code?
4 was the code. Secret! Oh! You got me!
Oh, no.
Lustful Dominique, I have a question for you, and I know sometimes you can't reveal some things, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Was that you that were tag teaming with Yoko Ono, Hillary Clinton? Was that you tag teaming with Yoko Ono?
That bitch stole my girl. Yes, listen, when I came out of the bathroom, they were already snuggling like they were in a snorkel kind of thing. And it was like, oh, no, don't, no.
What's a snorkel?
She
said snorkel. I don't want to know what a snorkel is. Who are you voting for in this election, Dominique?
Well, I'm going to vote for the man with the red hair. Or it's an orange. It doesn't matter. It's colorful, and I love the flame.
Donald Trump.
Really?
Yes.
The man with the orange cat on his head.
It's a tabby.
It's an orange tabby.
Pictures. I hope they have pictures so when I go in, I'll be able to stamp the right picture.
Oh, Dusty Dominique, hey, we appreciate you calling in.
Well, hang on. Pictures of what?
What?
That's for me to find out that you get Carter on top of Reagan.
I didn't want to ask that question on purpose. I intentionally wanted to duck that.
SHR listeners, Sackhead listeners want to know.
Lusty,
I just want to say this.
Okay.
My mother and father were listening to the show
the
last time I was on, and they're very big fans of your program.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just like to know how often do you, as masculine as you are, Sean, how often do you do TV appearances? Because a man as masculine as you has got to. I mean, you just must be rippling with all kind of muscles and everything, and I'm quite certain that we would love to see you in a picture or something.
I want to hear this answer.
I have done television once for the show, and if you really want a picture, Lusty, shoot me an email, Sean, at shrmedia.com, and I'll sign you an autographed one.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I will.
And Lusty,
we were in the other day.
Lusty, if you throw $100 bill in, I guarantee it's a naked one of them.
Oh, now you're talking.
Hey, Lusty, we got to go to break. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, and toodles!
Ta-ta for now.
Oh,
I like her.
Lusty Dominique.
She broke my cherry. Now I've heard her on the radio. I'm no longer a virgin.
I don't even know what the hell just happened. Oh, we're up against the break. We come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the...
We have more callers?
We will have more callers, I hope.
Let's just take them.
When we come back...
We don't even have a commercial segment for 10 o'clock.
We'll be back after this on the Sackheads Radio Show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
Your call has been forwarded to I'm a little bit drunk 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense Show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Sorry about that.
It was on. Okay, here it was. It was on Drudge. L.A. Times, all tied up. Rasmussen, all tied up. And a particular poll called the IBD/TIPP, which I have not heard of.
Oh, no, but I've had that a few times. You got to take some medicine for it.
It shows Trump as +1. They also make kind of an interesting point. The New York Times made an interesting point that the most accurate poll in 2012 that made the closest prediction was more accurate was that particular poll.
The
IDB tip poll, which shows Trump up 1 point.
Interesting.
Which
shows him up 1 point for debate win or in the polls altogether?
No, in the polls altogether. No,
So
this is not a debate win.
Post-debate poll, but for the overall election.
Overall.
Interesting.
And like I said, like we were discussing during the break, that's in consideration of all that crap dumped on Trump at the last second, allegations of the women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That, I still find that rather remarkable, which again tells me the American media maggots are doing their level best to make sure that the meme of he's dying continues, because that's all they have.
Right. So, we say on this show all the time, we have a hard time with polls. The polls are always skewed. And I look at it this way. As long as a poll has him within 5 points of her, then they're pretty much tied. Because usually they do a plus minus of 1 or 3%, or is usually the margin of error.
Yes, and anybody that's taken a stats class knows it's all about your sampling.
Yes.
Who got sampled?
Yes.
And in which way did you formulate your questions? Because your questions can be couched in such a way as you have no other answer but to go with, they are skewed questions.
So I have an interesting poll up. I found one from ABC 15, which is out of Arizona, and on their page, in the right hand section under News Y, the following headlines are up there. One is Putin's puppet. Another one is Trump won't say if he'll accept elections, and another one is talking about fact checking Donald Trump. So all negative Trump headlines, but in their poll for when they asked folks that go to their site who won their debate, 9,611 said Donald Trump, 5,133 said Hillary Clinton. So 65% for Trump, 35% for Clinton. And so that's kind of and that has seemed to kind of be the Trump. Of course, CNN headline had Hillary Clinton won.
Well, yeah,
the debate
naturally. Hillary Clinton wins everything.
This was a poll that I found out. I just kind of wanted to share because I don't think this site is necessarily friendly to Donald Trump based upon the other headlines that I'm seeing there. I don't know that to be true, but based upon what I'm seeing, that's the guess I'm taking. So I think it's interesting, these poll results.
Anybody besides me like Sheriff David Clark?
Oh, I love him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's got a quote following the debate that I just love. His quote is, Mrs. Bill Clinton was out on her feet. By the end of this thing, she's an empty pantsuit.
What? I love the empty pantsuit approach.
Yeah, I think Trump won the debate, like I said, point for point. I'm hoping that one comment he made doesn't overshadow his entire debate performance. Yeah. With polls like that, it doesn't seem like it unless people want to say. But I think that soundbite's going to be played over and over again, like we talked about.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
But look, I don't believe the polls in this race, and we were talking a little bit about it before. Clinton up 6, Clinton up 12, Clinton up 1, Trump up 1. I think that there are so many people that just flat out don't know how they're going to vote, even if these pollsters contact them and they throw something out, or maybe they're embarrassed to say they're going to vote for Trump because of all the negative press. But when it comes time to actually pull the handle, they're going to vote Trump. Or vice versa. There may be Hillary may have a larger lead because there are people with all the stuff that she's involved with. They may not want to say, yeah, I support her. But when it comes down to it, they might go in there and pull the handle for Clinton. I just think this election is so bizarre
It is the strangest I've ever seen.
You can't take any kind of traditional polling or traditional anything seriously.
No, because this has broken entirely new boundaries.
It has. How is it we, as the greatest country on the face of the earth, I believe, how do we get two people who are... How could we get two worse candidates? Seriously. The Clintons are just powerful and it's her time. And I think we got Donald Trump because people are so freaking sick of the Republican Party and all their
Look
BS.
who our president's been for the last 8 years. That's the problem. That's the problem. Look how divisive he's been.
No, he has been. But even on the Republican side, the Republican Party has been in trouble for a long time.
Right. But
we can't throw a good
fact that
candidate
nobody
up.
has stood up to this president in the right way. And you got a veto.
So that explains Hillary, but that doesn't explain Trump.
No, it does. It explains Trump because the Republicans had the ability. We saw it with the Saudi Arabia vote, right, to filibuster a veto.
Right. So this goes to my point. It's a problem within the Republican Party.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a terrible
that
problem.
has brought us
Here's
to
the
Trump.
deal. Here's what typified the whole thing for me. Remember under George Bush, we held the White House. We held the Oval Office. We held the House. We held the Senate. What did we do with it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I agree.
The Republicans are afraid. They are invertebrates. They're afraid of their own shadows.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're afraid to use the power they have.
Yep.
Even if
And
it's
they had
the right thing to
all. So if we give it back all to them, what are they going to do with it? Well, historically, what they've done in the past.
do. Nothing at all. And we do have a caller on the line from 919 area code. What do you think they will do if the Republicans get it all back? Hello? So far, so good. I believe this is Carrie Donovan, who is an SHR contributor and a just prolific,
awesome,
and amazing political personality who follows every ounce of this election nonstop.
And isn't she going to be with us on election night?
She will be with us on election night. She will be covering all of our exit polling, social media trends, and other things like a boss. And she was a contributor from the GOP convention this year in Cleveland. Carrie, thank you.
Your reports were great.
What your thoughts on the debate tonight, and what was the high point and the low point?
Wait, what are we talking about here? Because my mind is going like a lot of different places right now. I'm not going to lie.
It's all over the place.
Okay.
I thought he was being too nice and he was being too gentle, but that's he's already got my vote, so he's not speaking to me. I think that you all have made some great points. I think that he missed it on a couple of times, places where I would have really have liked to see him close the loop on some things. One thing that drives me crazy is when he lets her box him into supporting the war when he wasn't in office, and she was, and she
Right.
voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
And it
so-
doesn't matter what his opinion of the war was at the time. He did not have a vote for it.
No, and he didn't have any input. She did.
And he just kind of lets her, just box him in, and it makes me crazy. But then I go to, what Sean says, well, he's got a base. He has a very strong base, so that must work.
On some level.
No.
So,
his base isn't going to leave him. They're going to vote for him no matter what.
Right.
But he needs to pick up in those other areas, and I get concerned that sometimes he plays to his base so much that he's gonna lose opportunities to pick up those other votes that he's going to need.
I thought it was interesting. I was watching the Frank Luntz. Now, Frank Luntz also drives me crazy. But I think that he has some interesting commentary. So I was watching on his Twitter account, and he had one little clip, and he basically says, "I'm not even going to say anything," and it just shows, that we're watching that independence. It's always about the independents anyway, because the Republicans are going to vote Republicans, although this year is a little bit crazy. But it's really all about the independents. And on that clip, it shows the independents just tracking right up with Trump and dropping Hillary. So,
Carrie, I have a question for you. I didn't see a portion of the debate. Now, did Frank Luntz have one of those, one of the congregations where he gets a lot of people together and then post-debate they give their input to him?
So he's running those little focus groups during the debate and then posting little clips of the thing on Twitter. He had something. I think he continues it on afterwards, but he drives me so crazy I can't watch him. So
why is that?
I've met him a couple times, and I personally don't like him. I just don't feel confident. I don't trust him.
Is it his
hairpiece? I know
hairpiece?
that he was a big Paul Ryan supporter. Marco Rubio, I'm sorry. He was a big Marco Rubio supporter, and I don't think that it was appropriate for him to come out and say that, if he's going to be a pollster, that he should have an opinion.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
I'm just a little leery of him sometimes.
Yeah, well, I'm leery of everybody right now, including Clinton BZ.
You've always been leery of me. For like 10 years, you've been leery of me.
You can't trust anybody during this election. Carrie, I know that you being you were all over social media during the debate. What were you seeing? How were people reacting?
Well, a lot of the people that I like to follow are of course, Trump supporters. And so, of course, Trump supporters think that, that he won. What I have been finding is that the Hillary supporters are really getting mean. Boy, they have lost their sense of humor. And, they don't really have a sense of humor to begin with. But they are really they like to fight a lot. So I just take that as a sign that they know that they're losing. Of course, it could be wishful thinking, but I think they're really just feeling a lot. They're usually just like so in your face, want to get ready to fight and taunting and want to shame you, and
the vitriol.
Now they're just mean.
Well, and that's the thing,
bad moods.
You see that. Well, you see that in the left a lot. As much as even the truest Trump supporters can be vibrant and loud and colorful in their language, oftentimes it's not directed until they are attacked. Now, like anyone else, when they're attacked, it's a different animal. But when you watch social media, the left loves to be completely offensive in their approach to social media, from voters all the way up to pollsters and all the way up to commentators. And then it seems like when you fight back as a conservative, specifically in this election, it's amazing what they'll accuse you of, who they'll accuse you of being, all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they're the ones who incite it, just like at some of the rallies.
There's no evidence of that, though.
No evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, none.
Right, no videos.
None.
Just don't look at those videos, because that's
right.
That's really evidence.
Well, clearly evidence doesn't mean anything. Although, the FBI doesn't even look at evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore.
If the FBI doesn't look at evidence, why the hell should we?
No. Yeah. Evidence, what schmevidence?
Carrie, any final thoughts here going in, 20 days now from the election?
20 days, so I start doing early voting tomorrow, so I'm going to be all about the election now, really ramped up. So I'm doing, in North Carolina, we start early voting tomorrow, and then
awesome.
we have 2 days off right before the 8th. So I'm excited. I love election time. I love working at the polls. I love election day.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited. I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think Trump's going to win because of all the different. I'm basing that on some internal polls that I've heard, and also on those rallies. So I'm excited. I think Trump's going to win.
And the rallies is something that never gets discussed.
Yeah, they never get to. So, well, here's the
Well,
thing, though.
again, the media
Romney had big
covering it
rallies.
all up.
Romney had big rallies too, though. To be fair, but we've taken a poll, and Trump is up 100%. Now, granted, it's SHR and it's a Sackheads radio poll, and it was just conducted in studio.
That makes me feel better. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, there we
but
go.
just know here at the SHR studios, Trump is leading 100% among registered voters that were talked to.
Wow, good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Dude, I'm not going to waste my time at the polls like I did with Romney because it really made me mad.
Carrie, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and the fact that you'll be contributing on our election night special here on shrmedia.com.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. And, I'm at Carrie Baxter Donovan on Facebook and at Habit, HAPPIT 1776 on Twitter.
Awesome. Carrie, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you have it. I think it's a good time to wrap
We need to start getting more of our friends to say, like, Sackheads Radio, the most awesomest, badass, like something we can use in a
Yeah,
commercial.
but we say that for our whole show.
I'm going to make T-shirts.
We do, but we need like a new. We need a new commercial.
You guys are the most awesome show, starting at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays.
We actually get an award for this every year.
We do.
That's
Every
right.
year we get the SHR reward.
Yeah, we get an SHRE.
But here's why. Look, we already have a black guy saying it in our intros.
Yep.
So now we need other people, right? We need a female. So if Carrie could, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right, and then we don't need some white guy to do it because three of us talk about it all the time.
Right.
We need a Hispanic guy. We need an hombre.
Okay, we'll get
A
an hombre.
bad hombre.
We need a bad hombre.
One bad hombre.
to say that, and then I think we'd be covered. Oh, and an Asian somebody. We need an Asian somebody to say something too.
I'll make sure I put that out on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Hey, we need an Asian
We need an
somebody.
Asian somebody to
token
talk
Asian
about how
dude.
awesome we are.
Well,
if we could get Little Kim,
all I'm going to put is we need an Asian somebody, and then wonder why the Vice team showed up. No, I think you misunderstood.
I know, go back and listen to the show. It's a commercial spot.
But will any of you guys record a bit while you're here?
Yeah, be like, hey, we need an Asian somebody, and we'll pay.
Hey,
Boy, will we afterwards. You will pay.
What? What?
Oh, man.
Nuru suit or something.
Speaking of funny and stupid criminals, did you hear there was a gal in Sacramento, and I just saw this on the news, who called the police because she accidentally got herself in a pair of handcuffs and could not get herself out.
Oh, my.
Yes. So
Real handcuffs?
Real
or?
handcuffs.
Okay.
So the police department responded, and this charming young individual who was playing around with handcuffs apparently had a warrant out for her arrest.
So they just stayed on.
Oh, snap. Literally. Click, click.
How dumb do you have to be that that's your first call?
That's awesome.
It's like
So
calling.
was it a citizen's arrest on herself for the
does
warrant?
Does she sign
Does
her
she
own
get credit
paperwork?
for the arrest?
Like, what if she was a
You know
bail
what?
bondsman?
That cop better not have taken credit for that arrest on any kind of time card or anything.
Strictly on her.
Yeah, that is a transport only.
That's like calling SAC PD on 911 and saying some dude stole my meth.
All the more the merrier. I'm not saying she's a Hillary Clinton supporter, but probably not voting for Trump. Folks, that's it for the Sackheads Radio Show.
And a grand show
I'm
it
not
was.
saying, but
However,
but Ron Paul ain't voting for Trump. Let's just call it as it is, huh?
You've been listening to the post-debate special here
That
on the
was your Biden moment.
I'm not saying she's a Hillary supporter, but she...
that broad ain't voting for
that
Trump.
broad ain't probably friggin' voting for Trump. Check us out every Wednesday night here at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast. Check out all the great shows on the SHR Media Network. Hey, I want to thank the Bloviating Zeppelin once again, bloviatingzeppelin.net, for sitting in with us here at the Sackheads. I'm very much appreciated, sir.
Thank
Now, hang on
you,
a
sir.
second. I'm taking umbrage with something here.
Oh, umbrage. I
How
like
much
it.
longer is he going to be able to maintain his own independent identity when he is clearly part of the Sackhead team?
Well, you know,
we need to have this discussion because he can be the bloviating Zeppelin on his own show, but at some point we got to stop thanking his ass for being here because it's pretty much expected at this point.
Just sit down and shut up, BZ.
Not even shut up. Sit down and start
just
talking.
sit down and start talking. He's Sackhead BZ at this point. Yeah, you get his own commercial every time he sits in here.
Well, yeah. Okay, I like that. It works for me.
It's a very, very good point.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Sackheads Radio Show. We'll see you next week right here on the SHR Media Network. Tuesday night of election night.
Ooh.
There will be an election night special here.
Say election night like Little Kim would say it.
Erection night. Oh, they're going to have erection night.
That's my favorite night.
And it's not too far away. It's Tuesday, November 8th.
Yeah.
2016.
When are we going to start? Do you know?
Days.
We only have 2 more Sackhead shows before
the
erection night.
Are we going to be starting at 8 o'clock normally?
We will
Pacific?
start at 8 o'clock.
We
regular
start early
time?
on election night.
Oh, erection night. That's right.
Erection night, we start early.
We will start. We'll start at 6 because that's when Ken would normally start our time. 9 on the East Coast. And
okay.
and
Good.
so we have
Good.
to bump him.
Got it.
And that's usually when the numbers start returning anyhow, about 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And we'll pick it up and go through all the way through Hawaii, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get some definitive numbers.
And we're not going to bump Ken. He's going to be part of that team, hopefully, too, like he was.
Well, absolutely. But it's also, I mean...
we need kitten. Everyone needs kitten.
Everyone needs their kitten. So make sure you check us out. Election night.
Erection night.
Hello.
That still makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Radio show. We will see you next Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week.
Well, they'll hear us. We wouldn't literally see them unless we FaceTime them or something.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Hack you. Hack you.
Radio.
Hack you. Hack you.
Radio.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.